Even if we use this place for training a lot, it is peaceful when it's just me. Then again, I've grown used to quiet things in the past. It's nice. Even still, things seem so complicated.
Well, you seem rather lost in thought.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I didn't know you were there.
Yeah, I noticed. Mind if I take a seat? Hi there.
Are you well?
I suppose well enough as I can be. Really busy.
Busy?
And it usually is. Always some kind of drama. But more importantly, what are you doing here, alone, in the middle of the night?
I'm just thinking is all.
You have to walk a long way just to, think.
I like this place. And besides, I have a way to get here rather quickly. The others do as well.
Why do you like this place?
It's quiet. I like the quiet. I guess you could say I've grown accustomed.
Your body language is very closed off.
I guess.
Okay, listen. I want to know more about you. More about your story, if you will.
Why might I ask?
Because you were once one of ours, and now you're not.
I know you're a god, but I don't understand what you mean by that.
What's the best way to explain this? We use the term God, but I mean, technically we are, technically we're not. Gods, as most would know them, are reliant on prayer. They're reliant on belief. when humans stop believing in them, when they're no longer remembered, they fade. It is from belief that they draw most of their power. With that being the case, you could say that gods are created by humans. My pantheon, on the other hand, does not. We don't need your belief. That's why a lot don't even know of our existence. We are tied into humans. As long as there is humanity, we exist.
I think I understand.
So what I mean is that you were once one of ours. You were once human. Now you're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want to know more.
Well, what exactly do you want to know?
Your story, like I just said.
I'm not sure where I even would begin.
I mean, usually from the start.
Well, I was born and raised in a village. We lived in an outcrop near a forest. There was a decent amount of people that lived in it. I was one of 4 siblings, I was the second oldest. And the village survived on hunting and gathering, farming. Hunting especially. It was known as a honorable practice. My father was a hunter, and his father before him, and so on and so forth. So naturally it was expected I would become one. And so I did, and I enjoyed it. I felt at home when I would go hunting, knowing I would be able to help, my family and the people I lived with as well. I may have had blood relations and a mother and a father, but I saw the whole village as my family. We all did. And we would celebrate, and we would laugh, and we would mourn losses from other families and whatnot. Everything was done together. Our achievements, our downfalls, everything. And life was good. The soil was plentiful, and there was plenty of deer and animals and boars for us to hunt and bring home and eat, and use for clothing and tools. And I grew very good at hunting as well. By the time I turned around 12, 13 years old though, things started to go south. The rivers would dry up, and crops wouldn't grow as much. I believe we were going through a famine at the time. And because of such, animals weren't around as often. And winters were brutal. People would die off from sickness or starvation. did what I could to bring home what I could find. Sometimes I would go deep and miles into the forest to just find something. Doesn't matter if it was small, just something. And I'd have no such luck some days. And then, one day, while I was on one of these journeys to try and find something for my village, I spotted something out of the corner of my eye. It moved like an animal, and so I assumed it was. I nearly forgot everything I had learned of hunting out of excitement, so when I composed myself, I followed the creature for a bit and tried to find an opening. Though I lost sight of it for a second, and suddenly I turned around and I was face to face with it. It was not anything I'd seen before. This creature, it looked like most, fuzzy, kind of small, but not any I had known. Not a squirrel or a rabbit or anything like that. And then it spoke. Suffice it to say, I was a bit taken aback. This creature started talking to me and explained how they had been watching the area for a while, watching my village and me. Noticed how much I had gone further into the forest to find food. Well, they asked me why I was there, and I explained why. How, if I didn't find food, my village would starve. The creature, at the time, feigned sympathy. Though I was a child, I didn't know any better. They said they could help me. That they could give me the tools I needed to provide for my family. When I asked them how, they said they could make my skills as a hunter better. In every aspect. I would be stronger, faster, more durable, my senses would be heightened. As well as he'd help the land flourish. I, in desperation, accepted willingly, wanting to do anything at that point to help my village. I shook its hand, and for a moment, nothing really happened, and then I felt everything at once. It was like walking into a whole nother world. What the creature said came true. I was a far better hunter than I had ever been. I wouldn't lose stamina. I could keep running and not have to stop for water. Yes? In a minute. I'm in the middle of something. Give me a second. Alexa, hang up. Sorry. And I was able to track better as well. And in due time, the land also flourished from the creature's influence. Though I'm not too sure how they did that. I probably know now it was magic. And our crops grew again, plentiful, and the water came back. And because of that, so did more animals. In far more abundance than we had ever had. And we thrived. I was happy that I was able to help my village. And this went on for at least 2 years. I didn't see the creature again after that. Vanished from sight, even though I would try and find them and thank them. After 2 years, though, was when I started noticing something odd. It was subtle at first, and I almost didn't see it. But my appetite was getting less as time went on. I didn't really feel fully hungry anymore. I would eat less and less, which I figured maybe I just was growing and didn't need all that anymore. That was at least what I was told by my father. But then the physical changes started happening. I felt cold, even next to the warmest fires or even the warmest summers. In the winters, I didn't really mind the cold much. I noticed more and more changes happening. My skin was turning paler. My hair was changing colors, and my eyes were also changing too. And I got less and less hungry. Or rather, anything I ate didn't help my hunger. Wasn't ever enough. To the point where it hurt sometimes. But I kept doing what I did best. Helping the village, despite all of this. Then it came time for my little brother to learn how to hunt, and my father asked me to accompany him one night during the winter, since at that point the cold didn't sting as much. But while we were out, a blizzard struck. We ended up losing our bearings. Even with my enhanced senses and tracking, I lost our way. We somehow managed to find our way closer to the village, but something happened that that day I had been really hungry. And I ate a lot, but none of it helped. I don't remember what led up to it, but at some point I opened my eyes and my brother wasn't there anymore. What was left of him was not much. It was too shocking. I almost didn't realize the changes that had happened to me. I then heard voices, my father's voice and several others, approaching, and in fear I ran. And I didn't stop running until I couldn't hear them any longer. I searched a while for that creature. Never found them. And eventually I found a cave and stayed there for a long time. And at that point, the changes started appearing regularly. didn't understand why everything went so wrong. I only learned recently from the others the creature I encountered was another one of those of the 13 races at Dokkaebi. And their whole thing was making deals and feeding off of the energy from them. And what I was a byproduct of that, such a deal. And the sad thing is that I
see.
Even know anything. There's not much that is known too much about my kind. Legend Orcas, I mean. There's another one in our group, but they don't know anything either. That's everything up till now.
Do you know how much time has passed?
There's, a lot of new things. I can only imagine it's been a very long time. I remember where my village would be, but I probably shouldn't go back there, 'cause it's likely not there anymore.
Your father, what was his name?
I don't even remember at this point. It's been so long.
Was it Tycho?
I think so.
That would make sense.
Do you know him?
I did. One of the things that I brought to humanity is hunting. I am a hunter. And so any who partook in the craft, I would watch over, if you will. If I can remember correctly. He was a lot younger when I first met him. Couldn't shoot for shit.
That's interesting. He was one of the best hunters in the village.
Not at first. It took a couple of near-death experiences for him to get his head out of his ass. In time, and a little bit of guidance, he finally fucking figured it out. And then he excelled.
Yes.
So much so, that's how he got
Okay.
the attention of his wife.
Okay.
Although after that, I kept my distance. Other people to watch over. Although, if I can recall, I might have seen you when you were a kid. Much smaller than this. You might have been 4, 5. There were strange happenings in the area, but I got called away. And by that, I mean Leaf took over and fucked off elsewhere for a couple of years. By the time I made it back, most of the region was covered in snow. Don't know what made it change that way at the time, but it was definitely some sort of magical influence. The days got shorter, nights longer. The temperature grew colder and colder, never reaching the height it was before. It took a couple of decades for the climate to go back to the way it was supposed to be. Not without any help, that is. In time, as the world grew, so did the people there. And with cold winters, it became uninhabitable for a while. People moved away, wherever they could. And from the remains, a couple of decades later, another village grew there. The cycle started again. If you want, I can show you the place. The village, its remains are still there. Once again, desolate. The area, not safe, not habitable. Not because of you, but because of multiple fucking people doing stupid shit. But you might like to know you do still have family remaining.
How is that possible?
You had 4 siblings. Well, 4 kids. You were one of the siblings. Yes, your brother might have been, killed. But there are still 2 left. They definitely aren't. Your siblings are long dead. Same as their children, and their children. But the lineage has passed down. It would probably be their great something. God, what the fuck happened?
I don't know.
What? Where? Huh?
You like flew over there.
Static. I heard static, and then I was gone. Holy shit! I'm like, fuck. What is happening today?
Oh no.
Why are you like this? I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Anyway. I want you to know it's been a couple of centuries, though.
Well, my body did age. I didn't seem to change with it.
Because you won't let it. It's clear to me and anyone who looks at you that your mind is completely disconnected. You try to ignore your instincts. You try to ignore the parts of your body that you don't consider human. Your ears, your tail, your horns. You barely tolerate your flesh. Never mind your hooves. To me, it seems like you're distancing yourself from reality. Still holding onto a hope that one day you'll wake up, human, back home. As if this didn't happen. Am I wrong?
Yes? What? I will. I don't know any better. I didn't even know what I fully was till I met the others. And I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, yeah, that's a great question. Where to begin? Because that's just it with, like, Legend Orga. All of you are different. It's not like all these other races that were based off of pre-existing ones. They had a foundation to begin with. Adopted the culture of the ones they were based on and made it their own. But that doesn't really work for Legend Orga. There's so many. So many different kinds. I mean, I suppose you could look at a way to make it what you will. There's two of you. You can work together to make one. Create new traditions, or what be it. Create your own history.
I'm not...
Or... Oh, go on.
I haven't gotten a chance to know Namara as much, and I don't know how to feel about her. They seem a bit...
And what makes you so hesitant?
They seem a bit selfish.
A lot of people are.
I don't want to be.
You know, being too selfless is a bad thing, right? Believe me, I've witnessed that firsthand. I can't say I'm an expert on this stuff. Like I said, non-human, not a part of my stuff. You get it. But from my understanding of it, when I first heard of the whole concept. You are an unpure being. A sinful being. Not demon, obviously. But have you noticed how your friends, how they act? They are overrun with desire. They do what they desire. They're lustful, they're greedy, envious, wrathful, prideful. They're all of them. So are you. That's not a bad thing. But it is something that needs to be accepted. Yes, others look at that in such a negative light. But take this from a god. Not a human. Both are necessary. That's what the balance is. You still act like you're trying to remain pure, I think is the best way to put it. And the reason why you're like this is because of too much selflessness. Or at least that's how you see it. But how would others see it? What led you to that Dokkaebi that day? Perhaps it was pride as a hunter. Greed for the kill. Who can say? I don't like seeing one of ours get taken. Not like this. Vampires, werewolves, undead. There's many creatures out there that prey upon humans. They kill, they take, they steal, they turn. And it's one thing if it's an immediate process. Like if it's after death, then it's, I guess, more lenient. But the slow process, that does irk me a bit. Picking something we hold dear and ripping it from our hands. But at the same time, I don't want to see you destroy yourself. don't forget where you came from. But at the same time, don't let that determine what you do now. Don't let that hold you back like shackles, because that is just going to ruin the rest of your life. You can't spend it wishing for something that cannot be.
I know I can't go back to how things used to be. And while that was a reason, I still...
Is it because you're afraid of what you could be? Because you ate your brother?
I don't want to be a monster.
Now, this is going to be a very Rivkah response. Then don't. What do you define as a monster?
Someone who is completely unaware of their own actions.
No, that's ignorance. A monster is someone who's aware of their actions, but has a complete lack of remorse or empathy for them. It is knowing what you've done, knowing it is bad or wrong, and doing it anyway. A monster is someone who tortures a child. You know that it is wrong. You know that it hurts. But it's not that you don't care, but you take enjoyment out of it. There are those who are simply apathetic. And I suppose for some, those can be considered monsters, but those who enjoy inflicting pain onto others, knowingly and willingly. And with that being the case, I don't define you as a monster. I define you as an ignorant child. It is because of ignorance that such events occurred. First the deal, then the different signs you received of something being wrong. And then going out into the storm with two to only ever return with one. It is not you being a monster, it is you not knowing, not understanding. And while that can't be changed in the past, that can be changed in the present and future.
Can I ask you something?
Sure, go ahead. What's up?
you say that humans that are turned into other creatures, that it almost something you take a discomfort in. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who go through that, even today. I guess I just don't know why you would tell me all this.
Because I'm compassion. My very special ability. I can be anything. I am everything. All at once. I have the unique perspective of being able to see any side of any argument, every perspective there is why I'm traditionally the neutral party. And it's because I can empathize with you that I tell you this. I can't be everywhere. Nor do I want to be. You could say in the last couple of years, I've done some changing and come to realize a couple of things. That I really was not the best for the longest time. I didn't take my job seriously. And despite being compassion, I have hurt a lot of people because of my wounds. But I've been getting more involved with mortals, and I've been learning about them down here. And I saw an opportunity to do something. I can't fix the past. But I could do something here and now. You obviously needed someone to talk to. And there are things that you have needed to hear. That's why.
I would ask how would you know that, but you are a god, so I imagine you could tell.
I mean, yeah, there's that, but there's also, once again, your body language. You're constantly hugging yourself. You keep yourself drawn in, small, shoulders hunched, head down. Holding yourself, sometimes picking at your skin. Looking at yourself in disgust. You're quiet. You're clearly uncomfortable with what you are. You move your extra appendages as if they're something foreign. When you first get up, you're always a little unsteady on your hooves. Your tail bumps into things because you're not completely aware it's there. It takes you a moment to realize that your ears are not human-shaped. When you go underneath something, you sometimes forget to duck because you have horns. Do you want me to go on?
I get it.
Yep.
I want to know more about what I am and learn to accept what I am. But at the same time, I don't want to be somebody full of malice. I don't want to hurt those that are not deserving. I would much rather like to use the strength and abilities I have to protect.
Protect what and who?
My friends.
Even if in some people's eyes, your friends are the bad ones, I guess, monsters.
It's perspective, isn't it? They don't see what I see.
Exactly. Like I said, you guys are here to balance things out. Beings of desires and wants. That's why you're unpure. Very, very greedy.
People who've done wrong before, if they put their mind to it, could they be better?
Once again, I'm going to give you a very Luca quote. But anyone can be a good person if they just tried.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Luca's fucking affected me. Anyway. Anything else you want to talk about, Cal?
Is there any way I'll be able to talk to Elvis from time to time?
Probably. He shows up. It's when Apathy and I, or sorry, Geo and I aren't doing stuff. We're very busy. There's a lot of shit going on in the world, but when we have the opportunity to, we do try to let him out and so he can go fuck off and do whatever. In case you're wondering, he can hear you.
Hi, Elvis.
He says hi. In a very loud and energetic... Oh my god. He is very excited to play with you again.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah, just yes. My mind is never quiet. But it is the middle of the night, so you should probably be getting back to wherever your home may be and sleep.
Yeah. Thank you. You and Gio.
Of course, it's my absolute pleasure. This is well.
One more question.
Until next time, kiddo. Oh, yeah, one more before I go.
This is more of a request, actually.
Yeah, what's up?
Can I have a hug?
Absolutely. Here, kiddo. Just gonna lift you into his lap to hug.
Okay.
There we go. Come here. Despite being cold, he does give off warmth that can penetrate it.
Thank you.
Of course. My pleasure. Now you should be hurrying home now.